Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good day everyone. So it's me Almer Haji Zainuddin Bantilan. So ang pag-uusapan natin ngayon or ang i-discuss natin ay ang patungkol sa larong badminton. So during our previous lesson or sa ating mga previous na discussion is pinag-usapan natin or diniscuss ng mga reporter yung patungkol sa dalawang sport which is ang volleyball and basketball, which is sila yung mga sport na popular sa buong mundo. So ngayong araw ang pag-uusapan natin is also isa ring laro na very popular din sa buong mundo and also kabilang din siya sa mga laro na nilalaro during Olympics. So which is ito yung badminton. So bago natin to pag-aralan or bago natin i-discuss yung mga rules, regulations, and paano ito nilalaro and ano yung mga instrument na kinakailangan natin, it is necessary for us to learn its history. So bakit mahalaga ang pag-aaralan natin yung history nito? So the reason is, ganito kasi yun. So we are all aware that everything or yung history ng bawat bagay is, especially sa mga fields, is very important. Sa pamamagitan nito, nagkakaroon tayo ng idea kung paano ba ito nag-evolve from time to time. And also, nagkakaroon tayo ng idea sa kung paano ba ito siya ginawa. And also, nagkakaroon tayo ng appreciation sa sports na to na kung saan mas lalo pa nating nai-enjoy and mas lalo pa nating na-appreciate yung mga efforts na ginawa ng mga kauna-unahang taong gumawa nito. So, pag-usapan natin ngayon kung saan ba ito nagsimula. So, a game with a shuttlecock is widely believed to have originated in ancient Greece about 2,000 years ago. From there, it spread by the Indo-Greek kingdoms to India and then further east to China and Thailand. In medieval England, a children's game called battledore and shuttlecock was popular. Children would use battledores or paddles to hit the shuttlecock up in the air and prevent it from reaching the ground. Okay. Sabi sa history, 2,000 years ago daw sa bansang Greece, is may isang laro na nilalaro ng mga bata na kinabibilangan ng shuttlecock or basically ang ginagamit na laro is shuttlecock. Then, sa pamamagitan nito or alam natin na ang Greece isa sa mga bansa na kung saan very influential in terms of knowledge or in terms of ideas. So, isa sila sa mga bansa na nagpalawak ng larong ito. Then, alam natin na yung Greece, isa sa mga bansa na kung saan pumupunta ng ibang lugar upang mag-seek or humanap or dumiskubre ng mga bagong knowledge. So, kabilang sa mga Greeks na kung saan very influential yung knowledge nila is sila Aristotle and etc. Then, isa sa mga lugar na na-impluensyahan ng larong ito ay ang India, China, pati ang Thailand. Then fast forward, pumunta tayo sa time na medieval England. So pag sinabi natin medieval England, it is nangyari to between 5th century hanggang 15th century. May isang laro na nilalaro ng mga bata na which is very popular na tinatawag nilang battledores and shuttlecock. Dito sa battledores and shuttlecock, tinawag nila itong battledores and shuttlecock it is that ang ginagamit dito na instrument or ginagamit dito sa laro na ito is battledores or yung paddles or panghampas dun sa, let's say for example kapag naglalaba ka is yung pinanghahampas mo na kahoy dun sa nilalaban mo. Then ginagamit nila ito upang ihampas or ipalo dun sa shuttlecock and ma-prevent na magland or tumama sa lupa yung shuttlecock. So punta tayo sa taong 1860s. So, during 1860s, may mga military na inassign or military ng Britain na inassign sa India, specifically sa taon ng Pona. So, dito, nilaro or kabilang sa mga nilalaro ng mga military na ito, military officers, ay ang larong battledores and shuttlecock, which is alam natin na very popular nga itong laro na to. So, kalaunan is dinagdagan nila ito ng instrument na ginagamit sa laro which is ang net. Sa kadahilan ng para mas maging competitive daw yung laro na to. Then nung pinabalik sila sa Great Britain, specifically sa sa Britain nga. Then isa sa mga nadala nila or na-introduce nila sa pagbalik nila sa Great Britain isang laro na ito na tinatawag na Battledores and Shuttlecock. Then kalaunan is pati yung Duke ng Beaufort is na-impluwensyahan na rin ng larong ito, which is kasali siya sa mga laro na nilalaro ng Duke. Then may isang yung playground kung saan dito nilalaro ng Duke ng Beaufort yung larong Battledores and Shuttlecock is tinatawag na Badminton House. Then kalaunan or alam natin na basta Duke is hindi maiiwasan na may mga bisita. Then may mga bisita siya na hindi military, no? So pumupunta sila dun sa Duke. Then nakikita nila yung Duke na kung saan naglalaro or nilalaro yung Battledores and Shuttlecock. Nilalaro niya ito sa playground na tinatawag na badminton. Sa kadahilan ng hindi familiar yung mga military o itong mga bisita ng Duke sa larong Battledores and Shuttlecock, then tinawag na lang nila itong badminton house. Badminton referring dun sa lugar kung saan ito nilalaro ng Duke. Then kalaunan, dito na nga nagsimula yung katawagang badminton sa larong ito, and dito na rin napalitan ng badminton yung Battledores and Shuttlecock, which is basically ito yung kauna-unahang tawag sa badminton. Now, ang pag-usapan naman po natin ngayon is yung mga highlights or yung mga importanteng bagay or importanteng details patungkol sa larong badminton from medieval England hanggang sa taong 2012. So, before this further ado, let's do this topic. And punta tayo sa taong 1877. So 1877, dito na itatag ang Bath Badminton Club sa England, which is ang Bath Badminton Club is isa siya sa mga kauna-unahang badminton club sa England. So nagkaroon or itong Bath Badminton Club, isa ito sa mga club na nagkaroon ng importanteng role sa larong badminton because sila lang naman yung nag-introduce ng mga bagong rules and equipment na gagamitin sa larong ito para mas maging formal yung paglalaro nito. Sa pamamagitan nito na sila yung naging dahilan na kung saan ang dating hindi formal na laro or nilalaro lang ng mga bata na Battledores and Shuttlecock or yung badminton dati, na kung saan ang naglalaro lang is mga bata, is pati na rin yung mga iba't ibang klase ng tao or hindi lang bata, mapa-adult man or ano, is pwede na nilang laruin yung badminton. And also, nilagyan nila ito ng rules para mas maging formal yung paglalaro nito and maiwasan yung mga gulo. And para mas maayos yung paglalaro nito. So, noong 1893, naitatag naman ang Badminton Association of England, which is ito yung governing body ng badminton sa England. So, ano ba yung role ni Badminton Association of England? So, ang role na lang naman niya is sila yung governing body. Pag sinabi natin governing body, is sila lang naman yung nagsiset ng rules and regulation ng larong badminton sa England. Sila lang naman yung nagkakandak ng mga tournaments, leagues, and championships ng badminton sa England. And also, sila lang naman yung nagtitrain ng mga athletes na kung saan ini-introduce nila or tinuturo nila dun sa mga athletes yung larong badminton. So, yan po yung purpose ni Badminton Association of England, kung saan tinitrain, nag-o-organize ng mga laro ng badminton specifically sa England lamang po, hindi po international. Then, noong 1899, naitatag naman or na-create or na-organize yung tinatawag na All Open England Badminton Championship. Or ito yung kauna-unahang ligang nangyari or championship tournament na nangyari sa England na kung saan ang lalaroin is badminton. So, ang nag-organize nito is ang Badminton Association of England. So, sinabi natin kanina na ang purpose ng BAE is mag-conduct or mag-organize ng mga tournaments sa England ng badminton. So, isa to sa kauna-unahang championship or tournament ng badminton na naganap sa kasaysayan ng badminton sa England. So, specifically, nilaro lang naman ito sa lugar ng England at hindi po siya pang international na championship. Fast forward, punta tayo sa taong 1920. So during this time, panahon ito ng katatapos lang ng pananakop ng mga Espanyol sa Pilipinas. So alam natin na kabilang sa mga bansang sumakop sa atin is ang Amerika dito sa Pilipinas. Then noong 1920, panahon siguro to ni Manuel Quezon. O tama siya yung presidente during this time. Then yung mga British and American, isa sa mga na-introduce nilang laro sa Pilipinas ay ang badminton. So dito na ito yung kauna-unahang taon or ito yung taon na kung saan na-introduce yung badminton, larong badminton sa Pilipinas. Fast forward, punta tayo sa taong 1934. So, dito sa taon na to na itatag ang International Badminton Federation or IBF. So, ang mga bansang nagtatag nito ay ang Canada, Denmark, New Zealand, Netherlands, France, Scotland, Ireland, and Wallis. So, or Wales. So, ito yung mga bansa na nagtatag ng IBF. So, ano ba yung purpose ni IBF? So, ang purpose ni IBF, pag sinabi nating IBF, sila lang naman yung governing body ng larong badminton internationally. So, it means sila yung nagsiset ng mga rules and regulations, sila yung nagsiset ng rules and regulation ng larong badminton internationally, and sila lang naman yung nagkakandak ng mga or nag-o-organize ng mga tournaments, cups, leagues and championships internationally. And also, sila rin yung nagtatrain ng mga athletes para sa larong badminton, and every year or every 3 years may kinakandak silang tournament dito sa na kung saan tournament para sa badminton. So yan po yung purpose ni IBF. So punta tayo sa taong 1949. So during this time, may isang Pilipino or kauna-unahang Pilipinong naging isang atleta ng badminton and kauna-unahang Pilipinong nanalo ng badminton sa Pilipinas na ang pangalan is Adriano Torres. So siya yung kauna-unahang Pilipino na nanalo sa larong badminton nationally, for it means sa Pilipinas lang siya nanalo. Siya yung championship sa larong badminton sa Pilipinas, hindi po siya internationally. So punta naman tayo ngayon sa taong 1952. So dito sa 1952 na itatag ang Philippine Badminton Association. So dito to tinatag sa Pilipinas. So binubuo ito ng 28 na clubs ng badminton dito sa Pilipinas, and also ito ay isang association lang na under pa rin sa IBF or International Badminton Federation. So, sila ang role ng PBA or Philippine Badminton Association dito sa Pilipinas is sila lang naman yung nagkakandak and nag-o-organize ng mga laro or mga tournaments para sa larong badminton dito sa Pilipinas, and also sila yung nagte-train ng mga athletes na ilalahok para sa tournament na ikakandak ng International Badminton Federation internationally na tournament. Now, punta tayo sa taong 1972. 1972 is ito yung pinaka-controversial na taon para sa larong badminton. Ito lang naman yung kauna-unahang taon na kung saan may introduce ang larong badminton sa Olympics. So, ang Olympic na ito na ginanap siya sa lugar ng Munich sa Berlin sa Germany. So, specifically, tinawag itong very controversial is that may mga teroristang umatake during this time. So, ang mga teroristang ito is galing sa Palestine, and ang hinuli nila is yung labing isang Israeli or mga galing sa Israel na mga athletes. Then kanila itong hinostage and pinatay. So kaya ito tinawag na very controversial na taon para sa larong badminton is yun na nga, may naganap na gulo or hindi magandang nangyari during this Olympic, and saktong-saktong ginanap pa or nangyari pa sa kauna-unahang taon na pagkaka-introduce ng badminton sa Olympics. Punta naman tayo ngayon sa taong 1981. So during this time, yung Pilipinas is nag-i-evolve na nga or nag-i-improve na yung mga athletes, and mas natututunan na nila yung larong badminton. So during this time, ito yung kauna-unahang taon na sumali yung Pilipinas sa Southeast Asian Games na kung saan ang lalaroin ng mga Pilipino na athletes is badminton. Now, punta tayo sa taong 1984. During this time, ito yung kauna-unahang taon na sumali naman ang Pilipinas sa Thomas Cup. So ano ba tong Thomas Cup? Ang Thomas Cup is ito is isang league or tournaments na kinandak ng IBF or International Badminton Association. So, ang Thomas Cup po is specifically lamang po na nilalaro ng mga badminton na kung saan ang mga athletes lang dito is kalalakihan lang po at hindi po kasali yung mga kababaihan dito. So, yun po yung Thomas Cup. Ito ay kinandak or inorganize ng International Badminton Association. Punta naman tayo sa taong 1992. So, during this time, sumali naman ang Pilipinas sa Uber Cup. So, ano naman tong Uber Cup? So, ang Uber Cup, ito ay isa lang naman tong tournament na ang nagkandak na naman is ang International Badminton Association. Pero ang tournament na to is specifically lamang po para sa mga athletes na babae para sa larong badminton. So, during this time, ang Pilipinas ay, yung mga athletes ng badminton ng Pilipinas is tinalo yung bansang Tanzania sa larong badminton. Then, punta tayo sa taong 1996. So, during this time, may isang Pilipinong nagngangalang si Wina Lim. Basically, parang Pilipino nga ito, magaling siya sa badminton. So, siya lang naman yung kauna-unahang Pilipinong babaeng naatasan or pinayagang makasali sa Atlanta Cup na ginanap sa USA. So, isa itong malaking karangalan para sa mga Pilipino. So, noong 1997 naman, ang Pilipinas is naatasan na sila yung mag-conduct or maging host ng league or tournament na gaganapin sa Pilipinas. So, ang laro na to or ang tournament na to is tinatawag na Asian Juniors Badminton Championship na kung saan kinabibilangan ito ng 200 na mga atleta and na kung saan galing sa 21 na iba't ibang countries sa Southeast Asia or sa Asia. Punta tayo sa taong 2001. Sa 2001 naman, may mga, or ang Pilipinas is nag-host sa larong JVC Open Tournaments. So, ito yung tournament na ginaganap sa Pilipinas na kung saan ang naglalaro dito is specifically mga Asian lamang. So, mapapansin natin na from time to time is nagiging evolve or nagiging mas malawak na yung impluwensya ng larong badminton sa Pilipinas. And mas marami na rin mga iba't ibang countries sa Asia na naglalaro ng larong badminton. During 2001 hanggang 2005 is mas nagiging influential na nga or mas namamayagpag na nga yung larong badminton dito sa Pilipinas. So, yung JVC Open All Tournaments dito sa Pilipinas is hindi lamang po ginaganap para sa mga or ginaganap specifically sa isang lugar, kundi pati na rin sa mga malls is kinakandak na rin ito. Sa kadahilanan para mas maka-encourage daw ito ng mga athletes na maglalaro ng badminton and mas marami mga atleta yung ma-produce ng Pilipinas para sa mga susunod na taon na gaganapin na mga tournaments na kung saan ang nilalaro is badminton. Punta tayo sa taong 2006. Noong 2006, yung dating International Badminton Federation or yung governing body ng larong badminton internationally is pinalitan ng pangalan. Then, ang pinalit na pangalan is ang tinatawag na Badminton World Federation or also known as BWF. So, ito rin naman yung dating IBF pero ang pinalitan lang is pangalan or yung katawagan, which is sila lang din naman yung nagkakandak ng mga tournaments tulad ng Thomas Cup, Uber Cups, and many more na tournaments na kinakandak internationally or yung mga iba't ibang country around the world na kabilang sa BWF is pwedeng sumali dito sa mga tournaments na kanilang ikakandak, and also pwede rin silang mag-train ng mga athletes from different countries na kabilang din or include or nakamembro sa BWF. Punta tayo sa taong 2008. So 2008, yun na nga. Yung Pilipinas is naging isa sa mga bansang naging dominante sa larong badminton, which is yun na nga, hindi nawaldas yung effort na binibigay or yung mga effort na binibigay ng Pilipinas sa pagkakandak ng mga trainings and programs para sa larong badminton. Then during 2008, may dalawang mixed doubles para sa larong badminton na sina Kenny and Kennevic Asuncion. Basically magkapatid itong dalawa na to, which is isa sila sa mga naging dominating player sa tournament na kinandak ng BWF. So from hype hanggang sa from yung dating nasa ibaba na rankings ng Pilipinas is tumaas hanggang sa umabot sa rank 11 na place yung Pilipinas sa world rankings in terms of badminton tournaments na kung saan ito ay kinakandak ng BWF or Badminton World Federations. Punta naman tayo sa taong 2009. So, during 2009, ang Pilipinas is yun na nga, isa na sa mga bansang nagiging dominant in terms of playing badminton. Then, during 2009, ang Pilipinas ay sumali sa tinatawag na Söderman Cup World Mixed Team Championship na kung saan ito ay ginanap sa China or sa Guangzhou, China, which is kinabibilangan ito ng mga teams na from different part of the world na kung saan also kabilang din sa mga member ng BWF or Badminton Federation o Badminton World Federations. Then, punta tayo sa taong 2012, which is ito na yung pinaka-last part ng report ko. May isang Pilipina na nagngangalang si Paula Lynn Obanana, which is isa siya sa mga Pilipinang naging magaling sa larong badminton na kung saan isa ito sa mga trainee or isang athlete na ang nag-train isang Philippine Badminton Association or ang tinatawag nating PBA na kung saan sila yung governing body ng larong badminton dito sa Pilipinas. So, si Paula Lynn Obanana is naglaro siya para sa Amerika para sa Uber Cup na ginanap na naman ng BWF or Badminton World Federation. So, that's the end of my report. So, I hope may natutunan po kayo and I advise po na panoorin nyo po yung mga last part ng report, yung mga other reports para po mas maintindihan nyo po yung mga rules and regulations sa larong badminton and magkaroon kayo ng idea paano ito nilalaro. So, hanggang dito na lang po. Maraming salamat and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning everyone. So this is the equipments and facilities in badminton. So first is the court. A badminton court is rectangular with clearly marked white lines dividing it into different sections. These different lines define and limit where to serve, where to receive, and up to where the shuttlecock may drop for a shot to be considered good. On each double sidelines is a post which holds the net firm across the center of the court. As you can see on the illustration, this is what a court of the badminton looks like, and I will tell you what those lines means in the court. What are the corresponding use when playing badminton? Next is the net. A badminton net is a rectangular net placed in the center of the badminton court. The badminton net is held by two poles of a specific height and length. This net is the central element of the game, and the opponent players play on either side of the net. In the illustration below, that is what the net in badminton looks like. The net is made of dark but clearly visible mesh with a white tape that runs across its top. It measures 5 feet from the ground at the center and 5 feet and 1 inch from the ground at the post with a width of 20 feet. The overall court dimensions, the badminton court measures 44 feet long and 20 feet wide. The lines along these measurements are the sidelines for doubles and the back boundary line of the court. So when playing badminton, there are plays that played in a single player or double players. And when a single player plays, the width of the dimension of the court will reduce by 17 feet. And when a double player plays, the whole court dimensions will be used. Short service line. The short service line is the line 6.5 feet from the line that may be made by the net if the court is seen from a bird's eye view. So as you can see, there is a black arrow that pointing a specific line. That is a short service line. So kung magsiserve ang player, dapat hindi siya lalampas sa line na yan. And dapat kung nag-serve na siya papunta sa opponent niya, dapat pagkarating sa opponent side, dapat aabot yung shuttlecock sa line na yon. Kasi kung hindi yun naabot, score yun ng kalaban. Next is the center line. Center line 10 feet from the sideline for doubles is the line that runs from the short service line to the back boundary line. This delineates the left from the right service court. Itong center line is nagsiserve siya as a division para sa left and right serving. So, ang scoring sa badminton is magsisimula sa 0. And 0 is an even number. So, ang even number is sa right side siya ng center line. So, dyan nagsiserve first ang player. Then, pagka ang score is odd number or 1, 3, sa left side na naman magsiserve. And ang player na magsiserve, kunwari ako magsiserve ako sa right side, dapat ang opponent ko is nasa right side ko din siya. And itong center line is way siya kung ang serve ng isang player is in or out. Kung magsiserve ako sa right side, dapat yung shuttlecock is naka-in lang siya sa right side. Kung napunta siya sa left side, ibig sabihin out yun. Score yun ng kalaban. Sideline for singles. The sideline for singles is marked 1 foot, 4.5 inches from the edge of the sideline for doubles. So, sa sideline for singles, makikita nyo dyan sa illustration, yung arrow na nakaturo sa line, dyan ang sideline for singles. So, kung maglalaro ang dalawang player, kung ang shuttlecock is napunta sa line na yan, in pa yun. Pero pag nalampas na siya sa line na yan, ibig sabihin out na yun, score yun ng kalaban. Sa sideline for doubles, the outermost line at the side marks the sideline for doubles. So, makikita nyo dyan sa illustration, yung pinaka nasa outermost part ng line ng court is yan yung sideline for doubles. So, kung ang dalawang player kasi yan each side of the court. So, dyan mabibase kung in or out yung shuttlecock or pag nag-rally kayo. Then, pag nalabas na dyan sa line na yan, ang shuttlecock, ibig sabihin out yun. Ang pinagkaiba nila sa single and sa double na ito, is yung sa single is mas maliit yung space nila pag nagpe-play sila. Mas maliit yung space nila sa court. Pero pag double yung player, ibig sabihin, mas lumaki yung space nila sa court. Next is the back boundary line and long service line for singles. The outermost line at the end of the court functions as the back boundary line for singles and doubles and long service line for singles. So, dyan sa illustration na yan, makikita nyo yung pinakadulo na line sa court. So, yung line na yan is nagsiserve siya, kunwari, is yung kabilang court, nag-serve siya. Pag naglampas dyan, ang serve niya, ibig sabihin out yun. The long service line for doubles. The long service line for doubles is marked 2 feet and 4.5 inches inside the back boundary line. So, yung long service line for doubles naman, kung makikita nyo dyan sa illustration, yung nakaturo na arrow, pag ang kabilang kablaban is nag-serve sila, for example, doubles ito hindi to single, nag-serve siya, then pag naglampas sa line na yan, yung na-serve niya, ibig sabihin out yun. Next is the shuttlecock. The badminton shuttlecock is made of natural or synthetic material or a combination of the two. There are 16 feathers that are connected to the rounded, leather-covered cork base. All of the feathers are with the same length and must be between 64 mm and 70 mm. The feather tips form a diameter of 58 mm to 68 mm. The shuttlecock weighs about 5 grams and consequently can travel at a very high speed during play. Of course, racket. You cannot play badminton if you do not have a racket. A badminton racket is lightweight and may be made of wood, aluminum, or synthetic materials such as graphite or carbon. The racket is flat and the strings are crossed in a uniform pattern all over the head with no variation. The racket frame cannot be longer than 27.2 inches, and the width of the head should be 9.2 inches or less. The string area may not be more than 11.2 inches long and 8.8 inches wide. And that's all for my report. Thank you for listening.
Mechanics and rules of the game. Badminton is a racket sport for two and single or four in doubles. The object of the game is to get 21 points with at least two points advantage. A point is scored when the shuttlecock is not properly returned. The match is won by player or team that wins two games. Score system. Each game plays up to 21 points. The match gets to side that wins that the best of three games. Each rally won by a side is a point added to its score. If the score is tied at 20, the side that achieves an advantage of 2 points wins the game. But if the score is still tied at 29, first scores 30 wins the game. Score system. Badminton scoring system. All single, all doubles matches are the best of three games. The first side to 21 points wins a game. A point is scored on every serve and awarded to whichever side wins the rally. The winning side gets the serve next. If the score is 20 and 20, a side must win by two clear 2 points to win the game. If it reacts 29 and 29, the first to get their 30 points wins. Intervals and chance offense. A player have a 1 minute interval when the leading score reacts 11. In between the game, players get a 2 minutes break. Should there be a third game, players chance in with the leading score reacts 11. Intervals and chance offense are terms commonly used in sports, particularly in games that involve multiple rounds or sets such as tennis, badminton, and table tennis. Intervals refer to the breaks are pushed between rounds and sets in a game. They, they provide players with an opportunity to rest and strategies before the next round. Intervals are typically timed and can vary in duration depending on a sport and at the level of competition. During intervals, players may receive coaching or medicine assistance if needed. Chance of and of other hand specifically refers to the switch in position of sides of a playing area that occurs during an interval in sports like tennis and badminton. Players change and after add off game in assets. They ensure fairness by accounting for any variation in factors such as wind, lighting of court, conditions that may impact gameplay. Points of a singles. At the start of each game and when the score is even, the player serves from the right service court and serves diagonally to the receive box. Same thing happens if the score is odd. Expert. Expert the serve from a left. If serve wins the rally, he gains a point and serves again following the odd even. Same he then serve from the sides of his end as indicated by his score. Singles play, single serving court and playing court are both long and narrow. Serve from the right side when his service score is even and from a left side when their score is odd. All serve must be diagonal. Both players change serve court after points is scored. In badminton, the scoring system for the point single follows a rally point system. This means a point off is awarded to the player who wins each rally regardless of who served. In single, the first player to reach 21 points wins the game, but they must win by margin of at least 2 points. If the score reaches 20 and 20, the game continues until one player achieves a 2 points advantage and wins. Lastly, points of doubles. At the start of each game, and when the score is even, the player serves from a right server's court, directing the serve to the diagonal receive box. Same thing happens if the score is expect that the service from a left. If the serving team wins the rally, it changes a point, and the servers again, following the odd even. If the serving team wins the rally, it gains a point and become the new serving sides. The player on the receiving side who served last stays in the same server's court from where he served last. After the serve is receiving player may already stay anywhere they want to according to their strategy. Serving court is a short and wide. Double playing court changes to long and wide following the server each time. Each serving court scores a point. The same server serves the next servers from the other side of the court. No player ever received 2 consecutive receive, and the receiving team changes receiving court only after scoring a point. A receiving team never changes court. When the receiving team wins the rally, their serve is determined by whether their score is even right side serve or odd left side serve. Only the player serve to may receive the service. In badminton doubles, the scoring system is also similar to single. The rally point system is used where a point is awarded to the team that wins its rally regardless of who served. And that's all my report.
Okay, hello everyone. So our next topic today is all about fundamental skills in badminton. So, pag sinabi natin fundamental skills, ano nga ba ang fundamental skills? So, fundamental skills are basic techniques that are essential in playing to play the game effectively. Ibig sabihin, pag sinabi natin essential siya, isa sa mga importante. Okay? Ito yung mga importanteng galaw or techniques na kailangan natin gawin para mas mapaganda natin yung paglalaro natin when it comes to sports. So, ano naman ang ating mga fundamental skills? So, we have footwork. So, footwork in badminton is the most fundamental skills that you must have in order for you to get better in your game. Good footwork is simply having the ability to contact the shuttle early with stability. So, pag sinabi natin footwork, this refers to moving around the court. Ito na yung paggagalaw-galaw natin wherein pag mas naintindihan natin kung ano yung or mas alam natin kung paano tayo gagalaw sa court, mas nagiging effective yung laro natin. Okay? So, good footwork allows you to reach the shuttlecock faster and return to it effectively. So, pag sinabi natin pag sinabi natin good footwork, ito na yung mga skills when it comes to footwork na dapat natin matutunan para mas mapadali natin yung paggalaw natin inside the court. So, meron tayong mga 4 types of footwork. So, meron tayong ready position. So, pag sabi ng ready position, it means bend your knees a little with your feet shoulder width apart. Position your racket up in front of you as you put your weight on the balls of your feet. You should be in this ready position in the center of the mid-court area. So, ibig sabihin, dapat andoon ka sa mid-court area, kung lalo na pag nasa single player ka. And then we have V-front. So, V-front, if the shuttlecock is directed to your front court, execute the V-front by taking a small step first, followed by a lunge with your racket leg to reach the shuttlecock. The timing of the shot will be improved if you land with your racket leg simultaneously with the shot. Then we have the defensive side. If the shuttlecock is directed to your midcourt, execute the defense side by extending your racket leg to reach the shuttlecock that is hit towards your racket side. Extend your racket leg and rotate your hips and shoulders to reach shuttle that is hit towards your non-racket side, making a backhand stroke, especially for those shots that are considerably far. And then last, we have V-back. Ang V-back naman, if the shuttlecock is directed to your backcourt, execute the V-back by rotating your hips and shoulders and move back far enough so that you stay behind the falling shuttlecock. This way, you will have more options with your shots. If you are too slow in going to the correct area, you are most likely to respond with a weak shot. Okay? Ibig sabihin, kapag mali yung pagkakatira mo, may possibility na yung shot mo is mahina lang or less pa dun. And then we have another fundamental skill, which is grip. Okay, so grip is a correct badminton grip. A correct badminton grip is the groundwork of playing badminton. So, sa grip na ito siya, this is how you hold the racket. Okay, ganito. This is how you hold the racket. It is important to hold the racket correctly to have control over your shot. Okay? So, isa sa mga nagko-control sa ating shot or sa ating pagtira ay mismo yung paghawak natin sa racket. So, weak grip of the racket means weaker shot, okay? Pag naman strong grip naman natin, means strong shot naman na produce natin, ang nabibigay natin. So, by having a correct grip and a correct badminton grip, mas nagiging effective yung ating laro. Okay? So, sa grip na ito, meron tayong dalawang klaseng grip. Meron tayong forehand grip and then backhand grip. And then we have serve. And serving or serve, sorry. Serve is mastering different badminton services is essential if you want to improve your game. Serving is the start of a point and could give you a win right away. Use it not merely as just a serve, but a weapon during games. Okay, so pag sinabi naman nating serve, this is how you start the game or a rally. Okay, it's crucial to perfect your serve as it can help to set the tone of your game. Gaya nga nasabi dito, ito na yung nasabi sa atin na ang serving, ito na yung pwede makabigay sa atin ng panalo right away. So, meron naman tayo apat na klase ng serving. We have high serve. So, high serve is mostly used in singles in order to force your opponent to move to the backcourt. And then we have low serve. Low serve naman, this is use this badminton serve with a forehand or a backhand to persuade your opponent to lift the shuttlecock in his return. It is most often used in doubles, but you can also use it in singles, especially if your opponent's attack is too strong. And then we have drive serve. This serve can be used in singles and doubles with a forehand underhand action. Then we have a flick serve. And a flick serve is executed when an opponent has momentum and is on the offensive side, which wrist actions plays a very important part in the execution of this serve. On either your forehand or backhand, it is a misleading serve that gives an idea that you're going to perform a low serve. But at the last split second, you flick your wrist to force the shuttlecock over. Direct the serve above your opponent's backhand out of his reach. So that's it for our fundamental skills. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and good day everyone. I am Princess Elhamsi Jego, and in this video we will explore the different types of shots in badminton. Each shot has its own purpose and requires specific skills, but it's not just about hitting the shots. Shot selection is a strategic aspect of the game that can make or break a match. Factors such as the opponent's position, court coverage, and game situation all come into play when deciding which shot to use. Now let's get started. First, we have, if the shuttlecock drops to the front court, most likely you would like to hit it with any of these shots. So the following are great strategies for when the shuttlecock drops to the front court in a game of badminton. First, we have the leaf or the underhand clear. hit the shuttlecock in an upward motion, causing it to go high and drop to the opponent's end. So this allows you to send the shuttlecock to the far end of the court, forcing your opponent to move back and giving you some time to reposition yourself. So this shot can be used defensively and offensively. In defensively, it's a great way to buy some time and recover if you are out of position. Offensively, it can be used to push your opponent back, creating space in the front court for your next shot. And this shot can be performed using the badminton overhead stroke and underarm stroke. So the shuttle direction travels high up and deeply, as you can see in the picture provided. So it keeps the shuttle in the air for quite a while, so this gives you some extra time before your opponent is able to hit it. Number 2, net kill. So hit the shuttlecock forcibly at the net area, forcing it to dive down fast to the opponent's end. So the net kill is a more aggressive shot aiming to end the rally by making it difficult for your opponent to return the shuttlecock. So the goal is to hit the shuttlecock steeply downwards so that it lands quickly, giving your opponent little no time to react. So the timing and precision are crucial for this shot. So steeply means sharply, diba? So when to do net kill? So usually it is performed when your opponent returns a weak shot or too high net shot. And the third one is the net shot. Gently push the shuttlecock at the net area, causing it to drop immediately after crossing the net at the opponent's front court. So net shot, it is a tactical move designed to limit your opponent's options, forcing them to respond with a potentially weak shot or not being able to return it at all. So the aim is to make the shuttlecock travel as close to the net as possible, making it difficult for your opponent to return. So the net shot enables the shuttle to tumble, meaning fall suddenly, so across just slightly above the net. So these strategies can help you maintain control of the game and keep your opponent on their toes. So next, if the shuttlecock is directed to the mid-court, most likely you would like to hit it with any of these shots. So you have several options for your return shot. We have 4. The first one is to drive. Hit the shuttlecock at the net height, causing it to travel flat and with sufficient pace into the opponent's mid-court to backcourt area. So the drive, this is a powerful flat shot that travels straight over the net. The speed of the shuttlecock in a drive makes it difficult for the opponent to return. So it's a good choice when you want to maintain an offensive position in the game. So the aim here is to hit the shuttlecock at a high pace into the opponent's mid-court to backcourt area. So one of the main reasons to hit the drive is to increase the pace of the game. So drive is a flat, so towards the body of the opponent. So hit directly and slightly over the net. So it can sometimes be a strategy to aim that the shot at your opponent will be unable to react or shift his body. So diba, that's their first move. So they will duck or avoid the shot. So that's their natural reaction. The second one is the lift. So lift, hit the shuttlecock in an upward motion, causing it to go high and drop into the opponent's backcourt. So lift is similar to the lift in the front court. This shot sends the shuttlecock high and deeply or deep into the opponent's court. This can be a strategic move to force your opponent to move back, creating space in the front court. So lift is a defensive shot. So the net lift sends the shuttle high up to your opponent's baseline or the backcourt. So in lift, you can hit from very close to the net. Okay, so the third one is the push. Hit the shuttlecock softly to moderately pace into the opponent's front court to mid-court area. So the push, this shot is used to place the shuttlecock precisely in the opponent's court, usually towards mid-court or front court area. So it's less about power and more about the placement. So making it a good choice when you want to control the pace of the game. So it's a strategic shot used to control the pace of the game and keep the opponent guessing. So compared to drive, diba? Drive is a fast, sharp shot that travels into the back part of the midcourt. While in push, it's a softer shot that travels into the front part of the midcourt. So the fourth one is the smash. Forcefully hit the shuttlecock with an overhead stroke, forcing it towards the opponent's end to finish the rally. So smash, this is the most aggressive shot in badminton and is often used to finish off or end a rally. So the shuttlecock is hit with a lot of power and speed with overhead stroke, so making it hard for the opponent to return. So however, it requires good timing and accuracy to execute effectively. So in smash, the purpose is to provide less time for the opponent to react. So the shuttle is high in the air and can be angled downwards. So remember that the best shot to use depends on the situation in the game and your opponent's position. So it's always good to have a variety of shots. So let's proceed to the overhead shots that are preferred shots that are done at the back court. So if the shuttlecock is directed to the back court, most likely you would like to hit it with any of these shots. So these shots that can be executed from the back court in a badminton. So the first one is the clear or lob. So hit the shuttlecock high into the opponent's back court. So clear or lob, this shot is used to send the shuttlecock high and deep into the opponent's back court. So it's a defensive shot that can help you regain your position and set up for your next shot. So it can also be used offensively to move your opponent back and create space in the front court. So the aim here is to let the shuttle fly high in the air and land at your opponent's back court. The second one is the drop shot. Hit the shuttlecock from back court, causing it to go down immediately after crossing over the net into the opponent's front court. So drop shot, this is a defensive shot when the shuttlecock is hit softly and sharply downwards, causing it to drop over the net into the opponent's front court. So it's a great shot to use when you want to catch your opponent off guard and force them to move forward quickly. So it is performed from the backcourt and usually used to maintain the pace of the game. So it's an attacking shot. So it lands on the ground quicker, diba? So your opponent has to rush forward to retrieve the shuttle. And lastly, we have the smash. Hit the shuttlecock at high speed towards the opponent's mid-court. So smash, this is the most powerful shot in badminton, like what I have said earlier. So it is often used to try and end a rally. The shuttlecock is hit with a lot of force and speed, aiming to make it dive down into the opponent's court. So it's a difficult shot to return. But it requires good timing and accuracy. So smash, one of the most powerful badminton shots, and when you decide to mash, you're taking a risk. So make sure your smash will win a rally point or at least force a very weak return from your opponent. So these shots, when executed correctly, it can give you a significant advantage in the game. So the key is to make your shots or keep your opponent guessing. So that's all, and thank you.
Assalamu alaikum and good day each and everyone, especially to you sir. My name is Morsident T. Bansil from Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Mathematics. And to this video, I'm going to present to you a badminton strategies. Badminton strategies. Using badminton strategies in your game is necessary in winning you points, games, and ultimately matches, which means that playing badminton with strategies is a must than making a power. It is important to use a techniques or plan to earn a points in a play, matches, and also in a game. Just knowing how to smash powerfully will not earn you a gold medal if you don't have a game plan. So, as what I said earlier, that in playing badminton, power is not important, but making a plan or techniques in a game can make you advance in a play or in a game. Strategies in single. To serve long and high to your opponent's backcourt is service strategies often used in singles. This forces your opponent to move back and open up his front court. In playing badminton with single, serving long and high to your opponent has a great advantages to earn a points. In this case, your opponent will forcefully move back and have a chance to open up his front court to make a smash. A low serve, however, will make your opponent left the shuttle, giving you an opportunity to attack. So, ang low serve naman will make your opponent left the shuttle, means that lifting a shuttle is your opponent back the shuttle high to you and making a chance to attack or smash to earn a points. Professional players seldom use the long and high serve nowadays because they know how athletic the other players are. In playing single, some professional players use this long and high serve as an advantages and playing badminton single as how they know each other as an athletic players. The basic strategies in single is to move your opponent around the court. Direct the shuttlecock to the four corners of the court for you to set up a good opportunity for an attack. Isa sa mga strategiya sa paglalaro ng badminton in single ay ang mapagalaw mo ang iyong kalaban sa buong court. You have an advantages or opportunity to attack if you directly back the shuttle in the four corners of a court. Always go back to your base position and the mid-court area every after each shot you make. Your base is where you can possibly reach any of your opponent's shot at the shortest possible time. Sa paglalaro ng badminton, it is better to always go back in your mid-court every after shot in order you to easily chase the shuttle and necessary. Magiging base natin ang ating position para madali natin mahabol ang shuttle. In doubles, during service and when your opponent are giving lefts or lobs, you and your partner should be in attack mode. You can effectively do this if you are in attacking formation, front and back. Meaning that playing badminton in double as your opponent giving a left or lob means that your opponent is backing the shuttle to you in a high and long back. And in that case, you and your partner should be in attacking mode. We can express that attacking mode by taking formation, back and front. Serve low so that your opponent will be prevented from attacking the serve. If you are the server, take position on the front. Your partner should then cover the backcourt. So ang pag-serve ng mas mababa, tayo ay makakaiwas ng pag-atake or pag-smash ng ating kalaban. So kapag tayo naman ang mag-serve, we should be ready and taking position or be alert in front with your team and also in your backcourt. If the situation is reversed that you are the one giving left or lobs, be ready for attacks or smashes and therefore you should be in a defensive formation side by side. So kapag tayo naman ang magle-left or magla-lobs ng shuttle sa kalaban, again, making a left or lob or when we are backing the shuttle high and long. In that case, you and your partner should be in a defensive mode side by side. Always try to make your weaker opponent go to back of their end so that you can launch an attack if he gives a weak return when you defend. Meaning, try natin na mag-take risk yung kalaban natin na magsauli ng shuttle sa atin sa hulihan para magkaroon tayo ng tsansa na mag-atake or mag-smash kapag sinauli niya ito ng mas mahina kapag tayo ay nasa defending mode. Make a return to your opponent front court to force them to left the shuttle. So if we have chances to back the shuttle to our opponent and their front court, so do it to earn a chance to left or lob the shuttle back to us. Again and again, lefting the shuttle means backing the shuttle in a high and long mode. Strategies in mixed doubles. The female is considered as the weaker player. This is not a sexist remark, but males generally can smash harder. Therefore, the female should stay in front, creating a back and back formation. So, in playing mixed doubles, a female is considered as the weaker player of both male and female players. Those and men of female body posture, but also the male players can smash harder than female. In this case, the female player should be stay in a position of back and front. The male hits hard smashes at the back, forcing a weak return from the opponent so that the female can attack at the net. So kapag nag-smash yung lalaki sa likod, so expectedly isasauli ito ng kalaban ng mas mahina so that the female player should have the chances to attack the shuttle near at the net fastly. Certainly, there will be times that you will also be put in defensive mode. Therefore, you should be in a side-by-side formation. In playing badminton, there is a chances that with your partner has a defending mode, so that you and your partner will be in a side-by-side defending or formation. Apply flick serve frequently to the female when she receives to force her to the backcourt. In this way, you might get a weak return. That's an opportunity for you to attack. So try natin na mag-serve ng flick serve or pitik na serve sa ating female opponent to have the chance to go her at their backcourt. So in that way, they return the shuttle weaker and with your partner have an opportunity or chances to smash or attack the shuttle.